The A of PACE is accountability. Accountability stands for the actions that ensure the arrow hits the target, that provides a clear path to your purpose. Now, you've very likely heard the saying, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Another way I've heard this stated is, ready, fire, aim. It is inefficient and reckless gambling at best to enter into the game of wellness each day without a well-conceived plan. This is also the balance between short-term thinking and long-term thinking. Both are essential in unison for success. Be smart about what you want to be accountable to. Now, SMART is an easy acronym to remember when making short-term goals to be accountable to, and to avoid the cycle of failure. When I ask my clients to come up with one thing that they can do to be healthier on a daily basis, I often hear the response, exercise more, or eat less. If we were to ask the archer how she was planning to hit the bullseye, she would likely have a little more information than point towards the target, pull the bow, and release. Specifically, there are a huge amount of details, such as having the right equipment, employing a certain stance, a breathing technique, as well as timing, etc. So SMART accounting begins with being specific, the S of SMART. Exercising more gets better when we add the type of exercise. So for this example, let's say walking. But walking still isn't specific enough. How about where? So try walking around the neighborhood. In the same way, eating less becomes eating only during meal times, having one serving only, and eating slowly, for example. So if there was one thing that you could do on a daily basis that would bring you closer to perfect health for you, what would it be? The M of SMART is measurable. Making a goal measurable is the logical next step to being specific. So if we take the example of walking around the neighborhood, we give the freedom to take, well, either a long route or a very, very short route. If you're making more exercise your path to greater health, that means you've likely been taking the short route already, if you've been taking any route at all. So try this. Walking around the block, and I'm going to put in brackets, which is equal to 1 mile, 2 times. Now, this is measurable. The eating less goal could become eating 400 calories or less at each of my 3 meals, only drinking water between the meals, with the possibility of one snack of less than 100 calories, only if necessary. That's a lot more measurable. Essentially, we're looking to seal up any loopholes that we may be able to take advantage of. Listen, I know that right here and now, the part of you that wants to be healthy is here and may think that that's overkill. But out in the real world, the part of you that prevents you from accomplishing your goal of being healthier can be very clever in the ways of talking you out of anything. Isn't that right? So don't give it the chance. Make the changes to your goal that are necessary. And then ask yourself, can the part of me that prevents me from reaching perfect health find a loophole in this? Now, in the classic SMART acronym, if you've done it in the past, the A stands for achievable, but that actually ends up being repeated a bit later. What I found to be more important for myself and my clients is to make goals adaptable. Now, here's why. Life has a way of throwing curveballs, right? If we get ready to go for a walk in the neighborhood and it starts pouring down rain, or our friend that we're planning to walk with can't make it, or we've had a long, stressful day and we're having difficulty getting motivated, we need to be adaptable and have a backup plan. What are some of the reasons in the past for you not completing this goal? Take a moment to imagine a few possibilities. The truth is either you're going to do it now, or you most likely will end up doing it later, after hitting the bump in the road. So be proactive. Well, here's an example. You may be familiar with the Rebounder or the Mini Tramp. It's a compact trampoline that's only about 3 feet around and is designed to just simply bounce on, doubling your body weight and increasing your lymphatic system. Best of all, it can be done indoors and is just as effective as walking, if not more. So I may adjust my goal to read, walking around the neighborhood, which is equal to 1 mile, 2 times. If for any reason I cannot do this, I will bounce on the rebounder for 20 minutes. The key here is that the backup plan is an equal exchange. Because the rebounder is more efficient than walking, I can do it for less time but still get the same results, and weather doesn't really affect me. So I've become adaptable, so make your goal adaptable. Take your time on this one. Realistic is the R in SMART. Remember when you were designing your purpose and I asked you if your definition of your purpose excited you? This was to check for congruency both logically and emotionally. This gets the right and left hemispheres of the brain working, creating what my mentor, Dr. Porter, called whole brain thinking. Having a purpose or setting a goal that fills you with dread or gives you hesitation may mean that you aren't sure that you'll actually be able to reach it. If this is so, you're already going down the path, perhaps to failure. And we don't want that. Honestly, have you set a goal that you can actually imagine yourself being able to do? Does the environment you're in allow you to even reach this goal? How different is what you're doing now compared to what you're planning to do? Now, in neurolinguistics programming, one of the main tenets is a person can do anything if it's chunked down into small enough pieces. A special note here. You're setting a template. Setting a goal and finishing it tells your mind that setting goals and reaching them is the right thing to do. Setting goals and not reaching them sends a message that in fact promotes failing. Avoid this at all costs. I cannot stress enough that wellness is in the day-to-day success of setting wellness goals and reaching them. Progressively chunking up the goals to reach even higher levels of health and wellness as you go. Please read what you have for your goal so far and make an honest assessment. If you're congruent, we'll continue. If there's any pause, we'll go back and chunk it down. The T of SMART seals up the goal by making it time sensitive. We exist physically on a timeline. There are 24 hours in a day, and we can use this to our advantage. When the clock hits a certain time or the calendar hits a certain day, we essentially have a trigger that we can attach our goals to. Time also means duration and repetitions. For example, walking around the block equal to 1 mile, 2 times in 30 minutes or less. If for any reason I cannot do this, I will bounce on the rebounder for 20 minutes. Now I need to choose when and how often I need to repeat this goal. Walking around the block equal to 1 mile, 2 times in 30 minutes or less at 6 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If for any reason I cannot do this, I will bounce on the rebounder for 20 minutes at the same time and on the same days. The last thing to do is play a little game with the subconscious mind. As you will find out in future seminars, the subconscious mind accepts information as it's presented, past, present, or future, real or not, right or wrong. An example would be getting scared in a horror movie. Consciously, you know you're just watching, but the body reacts as if it's real regardless. So state your goal in the present moment as if you're already doing it. Use the phrase I am to begin your goal. For example, I am walking around the block, equal to 1 mile, 2 times in 30 minutes or less, at 6 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If for any reason I cannot do this, I will bounce on the rebounder for 20 minutes at the same time and on the same days. Upon examining this goal, I find that it is specific, measurable, adaptable, time-sensitive, and it feels realistic. It feels doable, and it will bring me closer to my purpose. It's a well-written goal. Now, Harvard studies estimate that it takes about 4 weeks to make or break a habit, and I highly recommend that you stick with and track your progress with this goal at least that long to make it last. When you're all done, advance to the C of PACE. If you have any challenges in writing your goal completely with the SMART method, contact me and I will help.